Could this be the moment the Duchess finally awakens to her reality? In a shocking new development, Meghan Markle is reportedly in retreat after the catastrophic backlash to her Thanksgiving spectacle. Sources from Shooter Scoop claim she is weary of being savaged over a simple turkey, a bitter irony, as many are weary of the turkeys she has foisted upon the world. The public's exhaustion is also fueled by her unending and desperate attempts to generate funds, epitomized by a recent email pleading for sales with a meager 20% discount. This, observers note, is a far cry from a life of service. It is not the work of a world changer. She will never conquer this industry, and perhaps it is high time she awoke to the scent of her own scorched ambitions. But the latest reports reveal even more. Shooter Scoop reveals a source claiming Meghan Markle is shaken, exasperated, and on the verge of surrender after her Thanksgiving cooking video ignited a full-blown scandal over hygiene. The insider alleges she believed she was crafting a quaint, cozy Duchess goes domestic moment, seasoning her turkey by hand, adorned with jewelry, her hair flowing, utterly at ease. But the internet, a cruel and unforgiving judge, had other plans. Indeed, the digital world tore her to shreds, mercilessly anointing her with the moniker Salmonella Sussex. An insider conveyed to Shooter Scoop that Meghan was utterly devastated. The video was intended to be wholesome, and she never imagined the world would crucify her over a turkey. A profound weariness has set in. She is tired of being condemned regardless of her actions. Behind the palace walls, sources whisper she spiraled with alarming speed. She has lamented to friends that she feels every minuscule action is weaponized against her. Another source confided that she is ready to cease sharing any part of her personal life, feeling utterly humiliated and blindsided. Meanwhile, the online commentary erupted with nuclear force, branding her unsanitary, dangerous, and clueless, with some even likening the unfortunate bird to a biohazard scene. And to compound the humiliation, this occurred just days after a calculated photo opportunity. She and Harry had been photographed baking cookies with Archie and Lily for charity, a clear attempt to soften their tarnished image. This disastrous turkey episode was certainly not the follow-up she had envisioned. The brutal truth emerges. Meghan cannot seem to win. If she posts nothing, she is perceived as cold. If she posts something, she is deemed cringeworthy. Yet for Angela Levin, the esteemed royal mastermind and Prince Harry's biographer, there is no room for sympathy. The verdict is in. She should indeed give up. She must abandon the charade, for she has sold the world a fraudulent narrative, and the public is no longer buying what she is selling. Furthermore, her execution of these ploys is, to put it mildly, excruciatingly inept. It is a mortifying display. Levin notes with a wry tone that this grand performance of Poor Me is just the latest act in her ongoing show. It is a lament that she is so misunderstood that the world fails to grasp her supposedly superior methods. What she fails to comprehend is that she could have chosen a different path years ago, one of genuine hard work and sensible actions. Instead, she presented a turkey that could make anyone feel ill just by looking at it. This sudden desire to retreat, Levin suggests, is a convenient fiction, a way to save face as opportunities are already being rescinded. She cannot bear to let another party announce they no longer want her services. So, she must pretend the decision is her own. How could anyone feel so persecuted? In truth, she must reconcile with the fact that she no longer desires this path. It is not an apology she offers, but a silent, seething fury. A rage that anyone would dare to speak to her in such a manner, to find her actions so revolting. To her, it seems, it is the public that is disgusting. But what she truly desires is the money. Precisely. What she craves is the fortune, a fortune she now sees slipping through her fingers. And, as Angela points out, there is a grave and serious side to this drama. For a family is always at stake. The Markle family is at play. And Thomas Markle Jr., who continues to care for Meghan's ailing father, Thomas Markle Sr., has reached his breaking point. In the Philippines, his patience has run out. He issued a direct and searing message, hoping Meghan Markle was paying close attention. This, he declared, is the legacy she is choosing. This is how her story will unfold. He branded her the lowest of the low for her treatment of the man who gave her everything. He accused her of being a whiny, stingy creature her entire life, and now this is her final act of betrayal. No phone calls, no text messages, absolutely no contact with her own father. He lamented his own dire situation, sitting there teetering on the edge of financial ruin, unable to gain any traction in his life. Each day brings a new struggle, a fresh wave of despair. And as Angela Levin observes, while there is a debate within the Markle family about the wisdom of such public outbursts, the point he makes is devastatingly fair. How, one must ask, can she attempt to draw the world into her hollow Thanksgiving spectacle when her own father is in such a desperate struggle, needing just a minuscule fraction of what she earns daily? This, after he poured his life savings into her university education, raising her at a time when her mother, Doria, was conspicuously absent. It is reported they are confined to a single, small bedroom. It is not a spacious flat, but a cramped and difficult existence for them both. The entire situation must be incredibly taxing, with no space for him to even walk about. It is an absolute tragedy. But Meghan, it is suggested, believes she has ascended to a superclass far above her origins. This should be another harsh reality for her to accept. While her food may be rotten, her treatment of her father is equally so. She ought to conduct herself with decency and see what can be done. But she refuses to see or speak to her half-brother or her father because, in her mind, they are no longer on her level. She has grown too superior. This attitude is evident in her behavior, arriving at exclusive events where anyone with a shred of sensibility would hesitate, fearing they might be asked to leave by the true A-listers. Yet she presumes they will be thrilled by her presence. If she can pay her way in, she believes she belongs. It is a peculiar way of behaving, this desperate need to prove her wonderful and clever nature to a world that, frankly, no longer cares. In the beginning, there was interest, a fascination with her story. But now, she is simply no longer interesting to anyone, and it is painfully clear why. And today, the indignity deepens, as Prince Harry, once the most beloved member of the British royal family, is reduced to this. He is selling his soul at a Canadian real estate conference, speaking to brokers who sell houses in Ontario. The event, it is reported, is not even sold out. For his biographer, it is a staggering spectacle of how far the man has fallen, a descent attributed directly to her influence. A swift and personal message follows. The premier way to support Dan Wootton Outspoken is by subscribing to his Substack at www.outspoken.live. Substack is presented as a bastion of free speech, a shield against big tech cancellation and legal warfare. Paid annual or monthly subscribers receive an extra hour of content with the Royal Uncancelled After Show, available every weekday, entirely free of advertising. Direct messaging is also an exclusive feature. The address, again, is www.outspoken.live. It is believed his downfall is entirely her doing. Is it not? For he has lost all of his previous energy and drive. That vibrant spirit is gone, extinguished by his desperate anxiety to please his wife. While devotion can be admirable, he seems utterly lost, unsure how to appease a woman who can be so spiteful and vindictive. He does not know what to do, even as she reportedly interferes with the simplest parts of his day. There was a moment, it is recalled, where she appeared to pull him by his neck, summoning him to her side that very instant. One hopes this interpretation was mistaken, but it looked for all the world like a command. Come here. I need to show everyone we are still in love and everything is perfect. Yet many astute observers see through such transparent displays. But regarding the Harry situation, he is now desperately scrambling to gather money. But what does he truly know of houses? He has known only palaces and magnificent estates. He acquired a huge one upon arriving in the United States, and even possesses another in Portugal which he is not using. They are reportedly renting it out. He knows zero about the subject, so how can he possibly advise others? It is as hypocritical as his constant use of private jets while lecturing the public that they must not fly. He is speaking on a topic of which he is entirely ignorant. Yet, some might still be charmed, thinking, "Oh, how lovely to see Prince Harry, the king's son. Aren't we lucky?" But reports indicate the room was less than half full. despite tickets costing around £250 each. It seems even those in the industry had no desire to listen. These were people who had been working in the field for years. And so, Angela, it appears he has been transformed into a modern-day royal traveling freak show. This is precisely the fate against which he was warned. Don't do what you're about to do, Harry. The speed of his descent has been nothing short of breathtaking. There is another matter to discuss today, one that delves into Prince Harry's past, a subject his biographer knows intimately after spending so much time with him. It has been thrust back into the spotlight by the re-emergence of Chelsea Davy, the woman so many consider the true love of Harry's life. She was the one who got away, the one who refused to tolerate his nonsense. And now, she is finally going public. She is speaking of her new life, her profound happiness, her husband, her wedding, her children, and her idyllic existence in Mauritius. Knowing Prince Harry and the nature of his long, tumultuous relationship with Chelsea, a saga covered extensively at the time, this news must be particularly sharp. It was a romance that spanned many years, constantly on again and off again. This public display of her happiness is sure to feel like a dagger to his heart, whether he is prepared to admit it or not. One can only imagine that when he saw these photographs, it was a truly devastating moment. Yes, though many people harbor regrets for a love they left behind. They believed they needed to move on, only to look back and think, what a mistake. But with Harry, it is known what transpired. They were exceptionally well matched. She was lively, fun, and highly intelligent. He adored her home in Africa, surrounded by the animals he loved, and her family welcomed him with open arms. For a time, it was a lovely, blissful period that continued through school and into university. But then, she went off to university, and he did not like the distance. She could not keep returning, and though she wanted him to visit her, he was unwilling. He became, to put it gently, unreliable. He simply grew tired of the arrangement, his attention wandering all over the place. In the end, it was not a matter of him fighting to hold on to her, it was a matter of him behaving like a very immature young man. He was portrayed as a foolish young man, for she was a magnificent woman, full of life, charm, and knowledge. Yet he inexplicably chose to revert to his mischievous ways, to do precisely as he pleased. From her perspective, she found it profoundly difficult to endure the constant swarm of people that perpetually surrounded them, a struggle that was entirely understandable, for if one is seated, perhaps watching a football match, and onlookers relentlessly interrupt with salutations and other such intrusions, it becomes a deeply embarrassing and challenging affair. It was a world she did not know how to navigate, whereas for Prince Harry, it was second nature. And so, the chasm between them began to widen, for they were both so very young. The situation proved exceedingly difficult for her, yet sources claim she was utterly devastated by the loss, for she truly cherished him for the man he was, not the title he held. He, in turn, descended into a state of profound unhappiness, having made a complete fool of himself. And therein lies the most telling detail, does it not? She loved him for himself, the absolute antithesis of the woman he ultimately chose. A woman who, it is said, loved him for everything else, the celebrity status, the royal connections, the immense wealth, but not for the man himself. In stark contrast, his former flame held not the slightest interest in the monarchy, though she treated them with respect. She had no need of their fortune, hailing from a family of considerable means herself. She was not one who coveted vast sums of money. She was an adventurous soul, a woman who embraced fun, not one who schemed, "Oh my goodness, I shall capture a prince," in the manner of Meghan. A prince was a prize to be won, a guarantee of success. She was not of that ilk. She simply wished to share a life of joy with him, and it is believed that the very flaws in his behavior, which she understood so well, she could have expertly managed, had he only allowed her. Many believe she would have drawn out the very best in him, guiding him not toward ceaseless indulgence, but toward a life of relaxed enjoyment, a different kind of existence altogether. They would have been an entirely different, and perhaps more grounded, sort of couple. But alas, they were both young, their romance blossoming while she was still at school. Such youthful relationships often wither as the years pass. Yet, one is immensely pleased that she has found happiness. Indeed, one must say she truly evaded a catastrophe. She dodged a cannonball. Believe it. It is a brilliant outcome that she is now so happy. And now, matters have spiraled even further downward for Prince Harry this very week, as Robert Jobson, a man well known in these circles, the biographer of King Charles and one intimately familiar with the monarch's court, is now advancing the shocking argument that Harry himself should be expunged from the line of succession. This represents yet another devastating blow. We have already reached a point where it seems almost certain that William will strip him of his title and potentially even his princely birthright, just as was done to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. But Jobson is escalating the matter, declaring that this is not sufficient. As a non-working royal residing in the United States, his position is untenable. Both Harry and his two children, Jobson argues, should have no place in the line of succession whatsoever. Witness this unfolding drama. But first, a brief aside. Has one ever truly examined the nutritional label on a common bag of crisps? One often finds a veritable chemical cocktail: seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, ambiguous natural flavors, and a list of ingredients that reads more like a scientific experiment than a simple snack. And we are left to wonder why we feel so bloated, so tired, and frankly, rather grim after consuming them. This is why the discovery of masa was so compelling. They are part of a burgeoning real food movement, resurrecting the kind of nourishment our grandparents consumed before snacks were concocted in laboratories. Now, masa's tortilla chips contain a mere 3 ingredients: organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That is the entirety of it. No seed oils, no mysterious chemicals, just real food. And here is the crucial distinction. They not only eschew the rubbish, but they also taste absolutely incredible. Snacking on masa chips is an experience entirely unlike eating their conventional counterparts. With masa, one feels satisfied, light, and energetic. There is no crash, no bloat, no dreadful sluggishness, for they are crafted from genuine sustenance. They are more satisfying as well, so one is not mindlessly consuming half a family-sized bag only to feel hungry moments later. And for those who adore masa, you will surely also love their sister company, Vandy Crisps. While the love for crisps is well known, Vandy produces the most delectable 3-ingredient potato chips, delivering authentic flavor and a proper crunch, all without a list of garbage ingredients. Are you prepared to try masa or Vandy? One can use the code OUTSPOKEN for 25% off a first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com. Or, for simplicity's sake, one may simply click the link in the video description box below or scan the QR code on the screen to claim this delicious offer. And for our viewers in the United States, masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket, so one should stop by and procure a few bags before they vanish. But now, we return to the drama. You cannot have such anomalies as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, remaining in line to the throne when he has effectively rejected it. He has savaged his family. He lives abroad. His position is simply untenable. It is believed he should be removed. He should not hold the title Duke of Sussex. He should not be called Prince Harry. And by that same logic, Andrew must also be removed. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, the line of succession demands to be made far clearer than it currently is. The current ambiguity creates a perilous situation. What if a terrible accident were to occur? As things stand, Prince Harry could become king. Given all that has transpired, that possibility is unthinkable. He is, for all intents and purposes, an American now. He resides in America. He has rejected the very notion of working for the monarchy. His proposal of being half in, half out was a fantasy one cannot entertain. In all honesty, his line should be severed. As it stands now, the succession is secure down to Prince Louis. There is no longer a need for these extraneous hangers-on. It was incredibly telling to see Robert Jobson, a man so close to the king and a staunch traditionalist, put this argument forth. It just reveals, Angela, how dramatically that Overton window is shifting, how rapidly the ground is moving beneath the feet of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. One thinks back to that Oprah Winfrey interview, where she was demanding that her children's birthright be honored, even as she planned to raise them in America, professing her disdain for the royal family. "They must be a goddamn prince and princess," she insisted. "Look how swiftly that narrative has crumbled." Yes, circumstances have certainly changed. It is fundamentally wrong that he remains in the line of succession. For the very same reason, the risk of a terrible accident, his position is a liability. If they were all to perish together, an outcome the king is trying to prevent by forbidding them from flying in helicopters together, it would be a catastrophe that would upend the entire monarchy. And frankly, this would serve as a lesson for him. He has been so profoundly rude, so cruel, so utterly irresponsible. Even his recent jaunt through Africa, posturing as if they were still on a royal tour and craving that attention, was a disgusting display. It is an act of breathtaking cruelty, calculated to make his parent feel terrible and deeply upset. Therefore, he must be removed. Meghan, it is said, claims to want none of it, but her actions suggest otherwise. Yet, she will never change, for to do so would be to admit she had not won her game. She remains consumed by resentment over how she believes she was treated, and all the while, the small children remain oblivious to the machinations surrounding them. It is an awful thing to bestow titles upon small children at school age, for it invites mockery. Taunts of, "You're not a real princess, you have no crown," are inevitable. Furthermore, the persistent shielding of their faces from the world is the cruelest ongoing act. It is not, as some might think, a strategy to build anticipation. It is a tactic Meghan must be employing, ratcheting up the tension until a sliver of a face is revealed. This is an absolutely ridiculous way to behave, and it is profoundly cruel to deny these children their very identities. They do not see their family, save for her mother. They have no concept of what it means to belong to a large family, with cousins and the like. One cannot imagine that they would ever suddenly desire to embrace a London-style life. They will not, and for that reason, they should not be granted any royal standing. They should not be called prince or princess. It is simply not right. No, indeed. And the breaking news today reveals that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has now been officially stripped of 2 more titles. He had held the Order of the Garter title since 2006, and the Royal Victorian Order honor since 2011. This appears to be the ultimate humiliation. However, the royal formerly known as Prince is reportedly fighting back, at least concerning his residence at Royal Lodge. Reporting from Tom Sykes of the Royalist suggests he is in no hurry to pack his bags. Canal Citadel offered a fascinating perspective after it was revealed Prince Edward pays a mere peppercorn rent for his mansion, writing, "Prince Edward was attempting to mind his business, and here he is. There is nothing improper about Prince Edward's rental agreement. He is a working royal, one of the most diligent, who rarely receives accolades yet consistently travels to represent the crown. As the son of the Queen, Prince Edward was also entitled to a royal residence. He pays his rent. But this intense scrutiny on all working royals is the direct result of Buckingham Palace allowing the Andrew situation to set the monarchy ablaze before they would finally do what should have been done from the start. This is the lesson in having a decisive leader versus a reactive one. King Charles is a reactive leader. He does not lead from the front in times of crisis. He invariably reacts to backlash after the fact. William, it is noted, is very different. The longer one waits to make a decision, the more the problem festers and infects the entire institution. Now, Edward is facing undue scrutiny when he has done nothing wrong. Proper leadership begins at the head. When the head fails to lead effectively, the entire body suffers. Is that a fair criticism of the king? No, that is not considered a fair assessment at all. It is believed the reason he did not take action sooner was his deep awareness that his mother, the Queen, particularly adored Andrew, and he did not wish to cause her any further distress. It is said that in the wake of a family matriarch's passing, one's actions are often guided by her memory, a path King Charles hoped his brother might follow. He clung to the desperate hope that Prince Andrew would finally compromise, that he would change and bring a semblance of calm to the fractured house. But such hopes were dashed against the rocks of Andrew's unwavering belief that he was, and always had been, superior to the king himself, far superior to Charles. in his own estimation. As the second son, a man-child in royal clothing, he harbored a dangerous notion that he should usurp his brother's birthright, that he should be the one to wear the crown. He believed he was more sensible, more clever, and possessed far more energy. To him, it was a dreadful weakness that Charles found solace in flowers, in literature, in music, and so, it is whispered, he campaigned relentlessly, a shadow in the Queen's ear, to ensure his brother would never be made king. This alleged campaign of sabotage unfolded despite the unassailable fact that Charles was the rightful heir to the throne. His current behavior is seen as a mere extension of that same defiance, a calculated cruelty aimed at a king who refuses to bend to his will. He will not compromise. He will not follow the path that would bring peace. Instead, he seems to relish making every interaction an ordeal, ensuring that just when they approach a fragile companionship, a place of agreement, the entire accord shatters. And then, the Duke declares, "Oh, well, you know, I cannot possibly leave early. I have other matters on my mind." He insists it will take a year or so before he can vacate, and just like that, bang, it strikes like a gong. He is back, immovable and defiant. He will not permit his brother to control him. For these two powerful men to engage in a full-blown shouting match would be a confrontation with dire consequences for the monarchy. But waiting in the wings is Prince William, a different man entirely, forged with a certain hardness that his father perhaps lacks. He possesses the steel to act decisively when the moment comes. Yet, one must not underestimate the king. When Charles finally resolves to act, his strength is undeniable. His supporters point to his considerable compassion, his dedication to the disenfranchised youth sleeping on the streets, to whom he has helped give work, as proof of his true character. He is painted as a man with a fundamentally good heart, a stark contrast to his brother, who is described as nothing more than a roiling ball of fury. Andrew, a tempestuous figure, is seen as a nasty piece of work, driven only by his own desires and a burning need to prevent his brother from ever overshadowing him. A fascinating and troubling portrait from Angela, a staunch defender of our king, our royal mastermind. But this is merely the surface of the scandal. Angela's most explosive revelations are reserved for the inner circle, exclusively on Substack, right now. And a special event looms tomorrow, a vigilant watch of the With Love Meghan Christmas special, a sacrifice made so you don't have to endure it. An unprecedented offer is on the table. Subscribe this instant for a record discount and gain access to the Royal Uncancelled After Show, first and with no advertising whatsoever. A staggering 35% discount is yours for Black Friday. Seize this moment by visiting www.danwootenoutspoken.com/sale, that is SALE. That address, www.danwootenoutspoken.com/sale, unlocks our special one-off 35% sale on Substack. It stands as our biggest discount ever on a platform that remains a bastion of free speech. An invitation is extended for you to become part of the community over there. Gratitude is expressed for those who dare to watch Dan Wooten Outspoken. Please, click on the face at the bottom left of your screen to subscribe to this brand new, independent news source. You must activate the notification bell to be summoned for our brand new live shows, our uncensored interviews, and our explosive special royal episodes. For those who consume their information in the shadows, Outspoken is also now available as a podcast.